Welcome back to the Murdy Creative Co podcast. I'm your host, Colin Murdy, and today's topic is Vistage. But first, I want to say thank you to everyone who's supported the company so far. If you haven't got a chance, go check us out on the web at murdycreative.co. That's M-U-R-D-Y creative.co. Or you can check us out on Facebook and Instagram by searching at murdycreative.co to see the best of our product shots. Follow us, keep up to date with our daily photos, and be the first one to know about new product launches. You can also use the subscribe button at the bottom of our website to be included in all of our new product announcements. Be sure to check out our laser engraving, personalization options, and exclusive colors on the website, or you can get a blank one on Amazon Prime. There are moments in your life where you look back at them and you think to yourself, that was really important. And you often don't necessarily see those moments in the time that they're happening because, well, you can't know what the future will bring. I am confident enough about what I think will come next that I can say that I think this moment in time, the last week, the last 3 weeks, will be one of those times I remember. It was about a month ago. I was hunting through my folio for a document that I'd lost. And I was using it as an opportunity to clean out my folio at the same time. I carry around my travel cut with me all the time. And I will say this travel cut gets awfully full of stuff. And it had a note in it that was tucked in the back, and I pulled it out, and it was notes from a lunch that I'd had spring of last year with Mike Brooks. And we were talking about the company and things I wanted to accomplish, things I was hoping about, seeing about. And one of the things he brought up was that I needed a mentor. And, I thought to myself, well, at the time I was like, I don't know exactly where I would find that person or really what I'd be even looking for in a mentor. And frankly, that's not a terrible problem to have for the purpose of saying, you need a mentor, is to realize that not all mentors are good. And he said, well, check out Vistage. And I didn't really think much of it. I obviously wrote it down in my notes, check out Vistage, and I hadn't thought about it since. And then as I'm pulling out this note, I'm thinking about the time that we're in. I'm thinking about the moment that we are in as a company and realizing that there is a lot going on right now that, well, if I had a mentor, I could probably kind of lean on them for advice and get some perspective, and it would be a good thing. So I looked up Vistage, I called, and I sent them the filled out their form, and Sarah, a representative of the company, called me the next day, and we talked. And she brought up a lot of great things about that I had been kind of worried about. She brought up things about, well, what are you looking for in a mentor? Well, I'm looking for these things. Okay, well, what are the concerns, and so on and forth. It was supposed to be a 30 to 45 minute meeting. In fact, I actually had told that I had a meeting that was, this was supposed to take a 30-minute meeting. I had a meeting directly after that. I told them I was going to be 15 minutes late. The phone call actually ended up lasting for over an hour and 15 minutes. Unfortunately, that meeting afterwards, they were polite enough to let me off the hook. But the conversation I had with Sarah went so well. It was a good conversation. She brought up great questions. She was engaging. It was interesting. And she said, after hearing all of what you're describing, I might have a really good mentor for you. Now, she did explain to me what Vistage is, and since I don't think most of you know what it is, I'll give you a little bit of it. Vistage is a leadership mentorship group program that has been around for a while. They started, ironically, out of a company in Milwaukee. It was originally called TEC, T-E-C, and I think that stood for something like the Executive Club or the Executive Committee or something like that. But it was a group of people that just got together and met. And it is now a very large organization, I believe spread out across the world. But we have a couple of groups in Milwaukee. But the way it works is this. You're part of a group. That group is 15 CEOs, or at the very least kind of C-suite level executives. And you have to be one of those people to get into the club. You have to be part of that, C-suite level, and you have to be sponsored. And then once you're in the group, they put you in a group where you have no direct competitors. And the group doesn't have any stake in your company. They're not normally necessarily customers, although they can be. There's no rules against it. And the whole point is that these group of people are CEOs who are in your shoes, who understand where you're coming from, who understand the problems that you have, but have no personal stake in the matter, so they can provide insight and perspective and ask questions and engage with you and encourage you in ways that are meaningful and not necessarily tied to the current situation that you're in. So that's part of what we're hoping to accomplish with Vistage and what their goals are. Well, I listened to that and I thought to myself, that sounds great. She goes, I have the perfect mentor, I think, for you. Let me give him a call, see if he's up for it, and then I'll get back to you later tonight, and we can schedule some time for you to have a Zoom call with him. So that call, she calls me back 3 hours later. She says, okay, I talked with Steve. He would love to have you as part of their group. He'd be the perfect mentor for you. He wants to know if he can come out to the workshop tomorrow at 10:30. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, absolutely. I would love that. I did not expect him to want to come to the workshop itself, but I was thrilled to have him. Next day he shows up. He's very excited, smiley, very positive, very energetic. I walk him through the whole workshop. I thought it was going to be about an hour. And I told him when we first started, I said, hey, I want to be cognizant of your time. You know, what's your end of today? I don't want to, go over my time, and I want to keep in mind what time we have so I can make sure things. He said, don't worry about it. Okay, so I don't worry about it. He comes to the workshop. We have a great conversation. We do a great meeting. He has great questions, and I'm talking to him about how anxious I am about this situation, because I was very anxious about it. And he was like a ray of sunshine. He was just, we're going to get through this. You're going to get through this. This is something that can be solved. We've got some ideas. Here's some ideas off the top of my head. There's going to be more when we get together at the meeting and stuff like that. And that was good. So I decided to sign up with Vistage. He and I had kind of talked a little bit after that. He gave me a sheet of things to fill out. That was kind of like what's your key goals? Kind of some planning stuff, basic kind of leadership stuff. I then call him about a week later. Maybe a week and a half later. It was a really bad day. I said, Steve, I'm really struggling. He said, okay, here's this. And this is the story that I've told before on this podcast. But he said, okay, here's this number, call this number, and then come to my Dale Carnegie event. And I did. And I really enjoyed his Dale Carnegie event. I actually have one more tomorrow. And it's really been a good opportunity for me. Been a good opportunity for me to practice my leadership skills, to learn a lot of things, to kind of take myself out of that moment. But anyway, he said, come to the meeting. So I came to the Vistage meeting, introduced myself. We had a great conversation with the group. And it was really interesting. So I drive down. I show up 15 minutes early, which is uncharacteristic for me, mostly just because I'm not particularly good at time management. But I show up early. I had brought coasters and sunglass cases for everybody just because I wanted to make a good impression, and I want to give these people an idea of what our product was so they could keep them. So brought a bunch of those samples. And I went and set them out in front of everybody's spot, and everyone started to kind of trickle in, and I introduced myself. I made small talk with people. And then we opened it up, and I was able to go with, there was actually one other person who was there was their first time. So we both talked about our companies, our history, what we're doing, and all of the other people in the room went through and talked about their companies. And I took diligent notes about who was sitting where and what they did. And as I was going through, there was a lot of it was very interesting because I could kind of feel a lot of what people were, what their skills were. You could sense when people were talking, whether they were more the accounting side, whether they were more the visionary, the entrepreneurial side, whether they were the more technically expertise in their auction. I think, and I would define kind of broadly that business owners are traditionally kind of one of those three people. They're either the accountant types, where they're really good at the numbers and they understand why a business can work because of the financial backing of it. Then there's the people who are the visionaries. I would describe myself as that way. They're not necessarily keyed on the numbers. They're not necessarily keyed on exactly the specifics per se, but they really enjoy the building of the process, the building of the machine, building of the tool, and then also other stuff like that. And I'm talking about like the machine of the business. And then there's the technicians. These are people who are really good at the actual process of making something down to like the expert level. And they end up starting businesses because they are good at something, and then they train other people to be good with them. That's normally kind of, I would say, the broad category. So you could kind of tell when I was sitting in this meeting talking to these people who was good at what. And overall, everyone was very welcoming and energetic. And one of the things that came up was mental health. That was kind of one of the broad topics of discussion, and how, sometimes as business leaders, people can struggle to connect with the mental health of their employees and some of that stuff. Now, personally, that's not something I struggle with per se, but that's mostly the side effect of who I am as a person and also the employees that we've had in the company. Everyone's friends and family, so it's really hard to kind of hide how you're feeling. But it was really interesting, and it was a great conversation, and I was talking to them about how, because they were talking about broadly about it, it's like check in on your employees, make sure they're doing okay, check on their mental health and care for them. And I kind of was able to kind of talk about how for me, the challenge has been that I am the employee that needs the help right now, and how my team has kind of come around me and coalesced around me to support me. And it was a wonderful time, and I had a good conversation with them. And what ended up happening is that I got to be the one that was selected for the Issues Council. And the Issues Council basically is that you come up as the person and you sit in the hot seat in the front of the room. And there's a process where it's you state your problem. Everyone asks a bunch of questions. They ask, you kind of restate the problem, then they ask some clarification, and then they create suggestions. And it's a process that you walk through. And I stated all of the issues that I'd had, and they brought up amazing questions that I hadn't thought about, things that were really critical to the business. Things like, do you know exactly where all of the money is going out the door, right? Which is a good question. And that's not necessarily my natural bent. That was one of the gentlemen who does tax resolution. He's very much of that accounting type. He said, you need to know where all of the money that's going out your door is, because if you're really this tight or things are going like this, even though you've got these sales, it sounds like you're losing money somewhere that you're not aware of. And that's a good point. And I've been going through the books, and I'm realizing that there's a lot of little fees that I hadn't kind of thought of when I was thinking my cost of goods sold, things like credit card fees and the shipping prices that are going up and things like that. So he's absolutely right about that. There was other things about the great question that was asked, and it was really a very challenging question, was, who is your customer? By the way, that is the most basic question. That is the first question they teach you in Marketing 101. And it's interesting to have it restated to me, because I don't have a good answer to that question. You have to ask yourself, who is my customer? And that's really two questions. It's who's my customer now? Who is actually buying from my company? And then the other question is, who do I want my customer to be? Or who do I want to be my customer? Which is a different question. And they have different parts. And so that was a good question that I had a whole series of thoughts on. We talked about going on B2B, talking about ASI. Tim was in that group, is in the group. We had a great conversation, him and I, about different aspects of that. And it was just all around a good thing. As we finished up the meeting, one of the gentlemen goes, hey, Colin, I'm going to place an order with you later today. I'll pay up front. I don't mind. I want to get you guys the cash, and I want you guys to succeed. And this will be a good product for my team. I've been looking to get a nice thing for my sales guys. I said, okay. That was not my goal going into it. I was mostly interested in it, and so he emailed me 2 hours later, and he said, actually, this is what I'm looking for. He sent me a list of what he wanted. And he said, don't give me any discounts. And I said, well, I'm going to give you the discounts that I would give anybody, right? I'm not going to not give you discounts because we know each other. I'm going to give you the discounts that are the standard discounts for the company. And I said, this is a large order. It's actually the single largest order the company has received by a lot. It's not even close. It was the single largest order of the company. And I'd said to him, I said, a lot of people have a tendency to talk themselves into a corner. So I said, if this is too much, I don't want you to feel like you're trapped into spending this much money, considering that I can tell that you're doing this not only because you need it and you're actually a customer in a legit way, but also because you're a good person who wants to help us in a tough time, right? So it's a win-win for both of us, and I know that you're cognizant of our situation, so I don't want you to feel obligated to spend this much money because you want to be supportive. And he said, not the case at all. This is exactly what we need, and I'm willing to spend it. And the check cleared. I said, he's perfect. He said, I'll get my team to, he's like, if it's okay, I'll get the team sent over money. They did. The money showed up. Largest single order in the company's history. It also led to that day being the largest single day of performance we've ever had by a lot. And it's a really good thing, because we are going to be able to get all caught up on the bills that we've been delayed on. We're going to have the money we need for payroll and then some. We're going to be in a really good place for at least a little bit here while we make the transition to ASI, which is happening. And it's not about the money per se, right? The going to the Vistage, the getting all of the support, getting all the help. I didn't expect to get an order out of that. And that's not even the biggest point. Like, that's not even the thing I got. That's not the biggest thing I got out of it. But it is something that I got out of it that is really important and is making a huge difference. And I can tell that I'm surrounded by a group of people in this meeting who want to help genuinely and who are willing to put their money where their mouth is when it comes to helping. So I'm thrilled. I couldn't be happier about the situation. And I have actionable items going forward. We've got a little bit of a cash infusion because of the person who bought that big order from us. And going forward, I am very bullish on what's going to happen next for this company. And it's going to be a good future. So I know that this moment, going to that Vistage meeting, seeing Mike Brooks at lunch, all of that, the elements that led up to this moment in time, all of those pieces of the puzzle, I can confidently say right now that that's going to be a fork in the road for us as a company, and a good one at that. So thank you guys for tuning in today. Be sure to check back in on Thursday, or on next Tuesday, for our next topic. And don't forget to check that subscribe button, as well as the notification bell to get notified whenever we launch a new episode. If you have any questions or concerns about your leather binder, journal, folio, accessory, anything we sell, please feel free to contact us on the main page of our website at murdycreative.co, or you can contact us via Instagram and Facebook. You can text, email, call, direct message, all the usuals. We'll do our best to get back to you as soon as possible. We do appreciate your patience. There is a live chat functionality on the website. That live chat is actually staffed from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Time, and occasionally we'll have someone available in the evenings to answer questions. So if you would like to chat with us there, please do so. If you have a quick question or you want to place an order over the phone, please feel free to call us at 414-434-9001. We're available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Time. You can also text us at that number as well, 414-434-9001. If you don't get a hold of us either during business hours or after hours, please do leave us a voicemail. We do listen to them. We respond to them. If you're going to call us about a specific order and you leave us a voicemail, please include the order number in that voicemail. It does help us triangulate both who you are and what you're asking about and all the specifics of the order. Sometimes our voicemail quality could be a little bit lacking, so that does help us a lot. If you think we deserve it, a good review can go a long way to help us grow. Both a review on the podcast, whatever app you're listening on, but a review on the product. You can go to murdycreative.co/reviews. You can read all of our amazing reviews. There's a button there that says leave us a good review. You click on that, it'll take you to facebook.com/murdycreative.co/reviews. There's a question there. Do you recommend the Murdy Creative Company? You click yes, and then you can write out your review. We read them all. We love them all. I read them aloud on our staff meetings. They really are very encouraging, and it means a lot to us. If for whatever reason you would leave us a bad review, there's a button there that says get directly in contact with us. It is personally very important to me that everyone is happy with their customer or their company and their experience with the company. If for whatever reason you're unhappy with your product, please, please, please contact us first. We are able to do a lot, recrafting, refunding. We want to take care of you. So give us an opportunity to make it right before you leave us a good review or a bad review. It really does help us. If you think we deserve it, I already did that one. Word of mouth is the best form of advertising, so please tell your friends and family about the company. In the bottom left-hand corner of our website, there's a little button that's our rewards tab. If you're logged in when you place an order, you get 10% back as in-store credit. You can also have a shareable link there. When you share that link with your friends and family, they get $10 off their first purchase, and you get $10 back as in-store credit as well. So that's a great way to help us and help you in the same time. If you have podcast topics you want to hear more about, send them my way. I'm always happy to talk about just about anything, and I want to give you guys what you're looking for. If you're looking for multiple binders, journals, folios, accessories, anything we sell, for gifts, giveaways, menus, really any reason, we do have bulk discounts available. They are built directly into the cart, so you can just mix and match, add to your heart's desire, and the automatic discount will be applied. If you're looking for custom engraved items, we do have our personalizer operational on the website, so you can go in there, you can add your own custom engravings, you can add that item to your cart, it will automatically apply the engraving charge. Normally it's $15 per item, we have no setup fees, and we have no minimum order quantities, so you can just get one if you just want one. And for that as well, the engraving fee is actually pre-bulk discount, so it actually can go down quite a bit from there, depending on the quantity you get. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a great day, and goodbye.